Welcome to the Call to Courage podcast. This is Matt Dazzi. I'm here with Gareth Pickering, and today we are going to be looking into the power of the post game, the power of looking back at something that just happened to you recently or far back and getting the gold from it. We're going to be doing that today. Gareth, how you feeling?
Matt, how you bud? Good to be here again. We're a little bit late this week, recording our Monday morning bulletin on a Thursday, but such is the function of what's been happening. And lots to get into around the post game, and good to see you again, bud.
Yeah, man, good to see you. Last time I saw you was a few days ago at the King's Circle. King's Circle 17. We dove into self-care. We had a level up partner, Brian, who was there to enlighten us on how to really put ourselves first as the priority and take care of ourselves first. And yeah, one of the things that you and I've been doing, let's just dive right in, is this idea of let's take a step back. That circle, we had 18 men. That was one of our biggest circles so far.
It was our biggest circle by quite a long way, and you and I felt it coming, and it feels like there's been this shift of really stepping into the King Circle. I think there was a part of us that was holding the first couple of King Circles, and we had our close sort of close tribe. But yeah, I think having really made the decision to step into men's work now and feeling the power of that circle, yeah, something's definitely shifted. And I think it's also been a function of the WhatsApp group, the conversations we've been having and building the trust inside that WhatsApp group. Men are showing up for that circle. I think the once a month commitment of having 2 hours at the end of the month, like on the last Sunday of the month, feels like a commitment that people can say yes to. And having 18 people there it was so powerful. I mean, you and I have both reflected on that.
Yeah, well, it brings our count up to 135 for our road to 10,000. For those of you who don't know, we have a commitment to get 10,000 men in circle, and we keep the count every month when we do the King Circle on the last Sunday of every month. And this week, one of the reasons why Gareth and I were late on getting this bulletin out is because we were post gaming this circle. And Gareth, maybe you can give a high level of what a post game is, and then we'll dive into some of the gold that we got from that.
So yeah, I think you touched on it already. This is something that you and I have been working on in our own personal lives for a while. It's part of our core scaffolding program, like our base foundational training. And it's basically anchored in the idea that there's a couple of things. One of them is that you don't often get the lessons of what's happened in your life unless you take a moment to reflect on what's actually come from those. And a lesson from a past phase could be reframing a failed marriage into a lesson from a relationship of something that you will do differently in your next relationship, or a failed business as an opportunity to put you onto another path. And so really it's looking back at the times of our lives, whether it's been the last week, a specific experience, like we did a post game just for the 2 hours that we had the King's Circle. You and I both do a post game for the decade of our lives. When I turned 40, I took the last 10 years of my life and I used the same format to be like, where did I win? What would I do differently? And we can get into the idea of the post game. But the other thing that I think is really super powerful with a post game is the ease that it creates in my system when I do a post game for the week, where I notice that I tend to over-identify with the things I haven't yet done and don't give myself enough credit or love for the stuff I've already done. And so the post game at the end of the week is like, what did I do this week? I inevitably feel like, oh shit, I've still got all of these things still to do on my to-do list. But when I do a post game on a Sunday evening, I'm like, fuck, I really did a lot last week. And there's something about that where you just take the moment to reflect back. Not only do you get the lessons, but you also get to see how far you've come when you take the time to do a post game.
Yeah, and it's like it's part of this. It's a great tool for doing the work, because when you think about what the work is, like when you're working on yourself, how do you know what the work is? And a post game is an excellent way of doing that, right? It allows you to sort of expose those shadows that live within us. That is often difficult for us to see because they're shadows within us, but the people around us can see them a lot more clearly. And in this post game format, especially the way you and I do it, we're able to give each other reflections and see, like, some of the trepidation, or like for me this past circle, I was realizing that I choked up during my share. Like, it was my time to share and I was just pulling a blank, and I was like, why am I feeling that way? And in the moment I was sort of vibrating in a way that I had to own it to the circle, like, man, I'm feeling super nervous and anxious right now, and I could feel it right here in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And through doing that, I was able to release it. And in my post game for the event, I've been able to tie that feeling to this sort of this inner family character who really takes on responsibility for other people's experiences. And so seeing that 18 men in front of us for the first time, like, really got me flustered. And in the post game, I was able to realize that that's a story that I'm telling myself around what being live in this event means. And yeah, the next time I'm going to be able to carry it differently because of that awareness that the post game brought. What came out of it for you?
The one that I want to share is the one that you and I have actually unpacked in quite a bit of detail. Um, there was a moment which was the same for me, like 18 men showing up in the circle felt amazing, and I was jazzed, and I felt like I was anchored. You and I had, just to give people that weren't in the circle like a behind the scenes, we've got 2 hours. We don't know how many men are necessarily going to show up for each circle. We've got a whole lot of different elements that we want to get through in the 2 hour experience that make the experience as meaningful as possible for those that are part of it. And some of them are unknowns. Like we've got an idea of how long the opening share is going to be. We've got a movement practice. We've got a drop in practice. And all of those have got a time allocation. You and I are quite precise on wanting to make sure that we start on time and finish on time, like that masculine presence, so that people get through the experience. We're also co-creating with a level up partner each circle who brings their own magic and their own flavor. We want to try and make sure that they stay on point and have the entire experience properly coordinated and choreographed. And having done 18 circles, I think we've done it pretty well. What happened in this circle was we were ahead of time as we moved into the second hour, and I noticed a part of me that was somehow attached to wanting to create a somehow more powerful and more meaningful experience for the brothers than we had perhaps had in the circle so far. And what that looked like in practice was me going, okay, I've got this thing that I've delivered once before in a circle. Let's see if we can put it in here to this 20-minute gap of exactly that we had now of additional space to make the circle somehow be more meaningful. What came from that was you didn't know what I was going to deliver. We had other men that were helping support the breakout groups who also didn't know what was going to be delivered. I made the decision really quickly, so I don't know that it was necessarily even that anchored in me, which meant that when I came to talk about and frame this particular piece that we were going to share with the circle, I don't think I framed it that well. And then when we went in and actually did it, I realized the time that we had allocated, the 20 minutes after framing it, was down to like 15, plus we still had another piece. We basically had 12 minutes for it, and it didn't land at all. It was there and it worked in a way, but the feedback that we then got from the circle was like, somehow we didn't have enough time. I felt like there wasn't enough time. And so, yeah, really the recognition for me in the post game, the lesson for me was stick to the plan. Like, rather create spaciousness in the plan that we already had, take a couple of breaths, expand on the exercises that we're already going to do, and trust that process. And don't try and force something else in there, because that's not necessarily part of the plan. And it wasn't, it was anchored in a part of me that was trying to create something that wasn't what we had originally agreed. And so there was so much magic in that. And this is almost what I love about the post game, is getting the opportunity to see this magic. In the wider context, it also points for me to the magic of the men's circle. The whole experience that we create is almost like a not an incubator, but more like a laboratory where we put a safe space with safe agreements for all of us that are in there, including you and me that are holding the space, and our level up partner who may have experience in holding space, and the men who might be arriving there for the first time. And the framework of what we build, we trust that whatever comes up is going to be magical for those that are part of it. And so while it looks like a mistake or something that I learned from, yeah, the power of being in that space, like the magic unfolds anyway. And so despite this tool not landing, some of the feedback that we got from the circle was like, yeah, I didn't quite know what was happening, but I got value from it anyway. And even though it didn't quite land the way that you and I had wanted it to land, we definitely got value from learning that that's not the way to deliver a piece at the last minute. See if we can force it in there. So, yeah, so much gold in the unpack that we went through there. Have you got something on yours that you can share?
Yeah, well, I mean, my piece was really feeling that edge of responsibility that holding that circle is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm going to be the level up partner next week. We're still sorting out the details of what's going to be taught, but we do know what our King Circle is going to be all about in December. So that's going to be a post game for the year, where Gareth is going to teach how to look at this past year that you've done, grab that gold, grab those wins that you did, find the gratitude, and figure out how to do better in this next year. Gareth, you want to expand on that anymore?
Yeah, we're basically just going to take this framework of the post game, and we're going to teach it in a way that that you can understand exactly what are the components that make up a post game and how you can use it for your life. And we're going to do it specifically in the circle now, coming up towards the end of the year, as an opportunity for you to understand how to use the process, but then use it practically to be able to reflect on your year and see, some of the places that you might want to improve in the following year, and also the opportunity to take the lessons of what 2023 has brought for you as a basis for you to be able to set up what it is that you're calling in for 2024.
Well, bro, I want to pivot.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, well, I've been getting on social media more lately. I've been getting on there. I've been really reluctant to get onto social media the way that I used to be. But when I'm dipping my toe in, I'm following a lot of men's coaches. And one of the sort of, there it is on the screen, one of the things that's been recurring in my feed is these guys daring each other to disappear for a year or 6 months and go and work on yourself. No social media, no news. Create an environment where you can show up 100% for yourself fully for a full year or for a full set of time. And while you're there, you do the work on yourself. You get your money right, you get your body right, you sort out those things in your relationships with your spirituality, and then you emerge back onto the scene as your most courageous, most expansive version of yourself on a path to a purposeful life and achieving what it is that we're here to achieve in this life. And it's been resonating for me because of the tribe training that we've put together that we're offering, that's beginning next week. Yeah, Gareth, I know you have some stuff to share around that. You want to dive into what that really looks like?
Yeah, it feels cool that you're seeing the outside world almost pointing back to what it is that we're creating. Like the part of it that's like, yeah, go out there and work on yourself. And it's like you and I had already been talking about launching Tribe by taking our foundational training called core scaffolding and using that as a way to be able to support anybody that takes that challenge and like, I dare you to hide out for 6 months and reemerge as the best possible man you can be. And yeah,
Yeah.
seeing that on social media, and you actually shared it with me directly, and you were like, this is a cool thing. And I was like, yes, it fits exactly with what it is that we're creating. And so, yeah, the core scaffolding program is almost the answer for that challenge.
I was looking back at when I was seeing those ads, I was thinking, have I done that? Have I really done that? I haven't done it consciously, right? Like I haven't done the thing where I'm consciously unplugging and doing it. But I remember when I was going through my rough heartbreak, which you knew who that one was, and I did disappear for a year, right? Like I did go into like a depression and get off social media and was like sort of in this energetic shock. And while I was doing that is when I met you. So I started implementing a lot of the lifestyle design tools that we now teach. And I also eliminated alcohol. I didn't party near as much. I started integrating conscious plant medicines. And it was during that time that I did get super fit, that I did emerge with a life path, with a plan, that I knew what I wanted and the tools to come in, call it in. And I look back at it now, what was that, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
And how that was a pivot point for me, that there really is something to be said around doing that process, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily doing it, but really saying yes to yourself and giving yourself what you need for an extended period of time, and how that change can manifest.
Yeah, man. And you and I have been doing this stuff probably for the last 8 years since we knew each other. Like I was sort of putting this stuff together, and it's definitely grounded and cemented as we've continued to create it, and we've worked with it one-on-one in our own lives. We've worked with it one-on-one with clients, and we've done some group training with it before. But really what feels magical now is this like sort of alchemy of combining it with the men's circle. So we have the magic and the technology that's held inside the men's circle with these very intentional tools that support you to get clear on what it is that you're calling into your life in all the areas of your life. And then installing one piece per month. So like over the next 6 months, one tool per month, that you learn the tool at the beginning of the month. In the second week, you're actually integrating it into your life and you bring it to the circle, the tribe. We have another circle every single month for those that are part of this training, and you get to ask and stress test this in your life against what it is that you're calling in. And then the next month you do another tool. So we've intentionally made it so that it installs in a way that not only feels easy because you're doing one tool per month. So it's basically like 90 minutes per month that you get to learn this tool, install it in your own life, check that it's working for you, actually integrate it, and then next month you install another tool. So while it's being installed, it's also being integrated so that you can test that it's working while including the Slack group and the community and the support that's going to be alongside you to make sure that this stuff works in your life. And so, yeah, it feels amazing to have this offer dialed in. And maybe you want to share our special launch price and why it is that we're starting with this over inside the tribe and exactly what we're thinking, bro.
Yeah, so we're going to put a link in the show notes here and on any pages that you might be consuming this content. But essentially, it's a training that begins on Thursday, November 9th is when we're going to be doing our opening circle. And intake for that is closing this Monday, November 6th. So if you're listening to this message, the time to act is now. And yeah, it's about this whole system of lifestyle design, right? This idea of doing a self-assessment, figuring out where you're at and where you want to be, finding the systems that can support you to get from point A to point B, and then having the support, the accountability of the circle every other week, of the community that we have in the Slack channel, of all the different tools that are supporting you inside the studio. And yeah, it's exciting to offer it, man. I can't wait to get started. And I'm going to be doing my own. Like, I've realized through this process that I haven't done a new perfect day exercise or a new order board or really integrated my pregame and postgame as a father. That the sprint of fatherhood that the last 2 years has been, I have shed a lot of my self-care practices that need to be renewed. And so, yeah, over the next 6 months, I'm going to be diving in, doing the work on myself, sharing it in the community, and doing it alongside of these brothers who have said yes to themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I think there's that saying that the cobbler's kids never have good shoes, like he's too busy making shoes for everybody else. And it feels a little bit like that. We teach all of this stuff. I definitely feel like I've got it embodied, but I think it's going to be good for me also to go alongside and revisit my perfect day. My order board needs a refresh. And yeah, it's exciting to be going in this container with men that are interested in doing the work and are committed to disappearing for 6 months and re-emerging as the best version of themselves. And so, yeah, our Fathers, Sons, Brothers Tribe membership is $100 per month for those that want to journey with us. As a special launch offer that we're launching right now, if you say yes before Monday, the 6th of November, we're going to offer $500 for a full 12 months of training. That means you get the first 6 months that we've been talking about for the last couple of minutes, all the training and tools that you need to re-emerge as the best possible version of yourself. We're then going to move into another phase of Tribe, which will be another 6 months, and that's included in that $500. So instead of it being $100 a month, it works out to be roughly $42 a month for the year. And so once you've done the core scaffolding program with Matt and I, we're also going to be sharing something called purpose and service, which is recognizing that for most men, our number one priority is to know what our purpose is and to be sharing our gifts with the world. And I know the part of me that was disconnected from our purpose, and there's no amount of money or success or beautiful women or fancy holidays that can fill that void of not being in service to the world, not knowing what it is that you came here to do and showing up in this phase of your life. And I think men that move into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, you can't just work in the job that pays the money and try and fill your life with stuff and hope that you're going to be happy. Because if you're not connected to your purpose, clear about why it is that you're on this planet and showing up in order to be able to do that, it's something that you can't get around. And so, yeah, the next 6 months is going to be purpose and service. And a part of that is going to be the graduation for those men that actually want to hold their own men's circle in their own community. We're going to give you the tools, the frameworks, and the confidence that you need to show up in your own community and connect with men that you want to be able to get feedback from, build the same thing that we're building inside the online community is just men that you trust, that you can share and hold yourself accountable to doing the work. And so that's really what we're offering for this launch phase. Super stoked to be bringing it to the world. And yeah, keen to hear what you have to say, bro.
Fuck, bro. I'm just proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what we put together, and I've been, combing through the videos that you're putting out and the communication to our community and our tribe, and it's just every video is getting better and better to communicate and transmit this message and to speak your truth and to speak your passion about helping men step into the best version of themselves. Fucking bravo. I love you. I'm proud to be working with you.
Thank you, my man. That means a lot. I am. I'm receiving that. Thank you. And I also want to say that I shared this with Minter after our circle the other day. Dude, your ability to be like my wingman and support me as I put this out into the world, your ability to bring clarity to my message and support with a lot of the back office stuff. And yeah, bro, it's next level. And I also, yeah, I just want to say thank you for being there, bro. We've been part of this adventure for a while. As all of these things are, it's never plain sailing from point A to point B. Success isn't a straight path. And yeah, man, I just feel like your ability to read what needs to be done is something that I don't take for granted. And I want to say thank you for that as well, bro.
Fuck yeah, baby. Thank you. And thank you all for listening to the Call to Courage podcast. This is your weekly bulletin.
I want to share one last piece, which feels amazing, and that is if you're listening to this and you want to join our WhatsApp group, we've created a WhatsApp group for men to get engaged and stay connected to the brothers between the King Circle that happens once a month. And there's just been so much magic that has evolved inside that group since we started it. First of all, it's just exploded. I think we've got like 35 men in that group now. And what I noticed is that there's a place where brothers have been challenging each other on specific topics and then having open and honest dialogue about difficult subjects and reaching a conclusion which felt really, really mature in the ability to be able to have a conversation backwards and forwards. There was one that came up this week specifically around people apologizing, like saying sorry for things where you often don't need to. And I recognize this. It's like, I know the part of me, and I think it's a South African thing where we tend to over apologize for things that aren't even our fault. It's just a way of like people pleasing somehow. And one brother had apologized for not making the circle. Someone else challenged him on that. And then he came back and said, thank you, I get it. And he had made a commitment. So it felt in his integrity to make the apology. And there was just this like good dialogue that was happening between there. And a lot of other people owning stuff and sharing stuff inside the WhatsApp group. So yeah, jazzed to have that conversation unfolding.
Yeah, we'll put the link to that as well in the show notes so that you can jump directly in there. And yeah, y'all. See you on the inside, brothers.
Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for checking out our bulletin. And yeah, stoked to see you inside the WhatsApp group. If you're ready to dive deeper with this tribe, with myself and Matt, and to put in the work and to reemerge as the best version of yourself, check out the link in the show notes to join Tribe. That $500 offer expires this Monday night. If you missed that, Tribe training will be available again, but it's going to be at a different price, which is $100 a month as opposed to $42 per month. And yeah, love to all of you. Matt, thanks for making time. I know you have a million things on your plate at the moment with all of your projects and being a dad, so appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, baby.
Till next week.
See ya.
Ciao, ciao.